Hello, dear folks. My dear audience, welcome to the show. Jack Xiao is my name. I'm on East West Show with G&E TV, channel 44.9, of course. That's where you are tuning. Yes, with me today is my good friend, candidate for West Covina City Council, Mr. Joe Gardner. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jack. It's always great to come back and do your show.
And it's always great to touch base with you about
Yes.
your own city,
Yes.
which is our city too.
Yes.
Right? So, the city of West Covina, being a city of over 50 years old, I believe, right?
Right.
Okay. Has quite a history to talk about. And it was not until recently did people find out there's something going on inside the city. So should we give it a full score or less full score or under average score, whatever? We do not know yet. So subject to that, we named the show today, call it Inside the City. Right. To get into inside of the city, though, I would like to touch base with its candidate, Mr. Joe Gardner, about his findings for the past weeks of going door to door. In other words, what did you find out by going out of door to doors? So generally, I would like to start the show with you drawing a overall picture about the city, please.
Well, as you know, candidates go and talk to a lot of people every week, every day sometimes, and so I always I enjoy talking to people to begin with, and I never try to miss the opportunity to ask people about what they think about their city, you know, what their concerns are. And, you know, many of them, I find they may not realize some of the things that are going on in the city, but then you'll find a trend, or you'll see some people that have been well informed, and they will tell you, you know, yeah, they heard about the recent Tribune article about the secretary, the state controller's office audit. And so, you know, you'll get some folks that will comment on that, and they're concerned because they're taxpayers. They want to make sure their taxes are used appropriately, and so some that I've run into have been, you know, vocal about their concerns. So
Good.
It's interesting
Sure.
to see that.
By the way, my dear audience, is also to you as a reference. So, me as a show host, I often conduct conversations like this with the candidates regarding their campaign or election, whatever. So, they are all going door to doors.
Right.
But there are two different ways of going door to doors. Way number one, they go to doors, knock on the door, say, hey, please vote for me.
Right.
I'm who and who, right? And the other way of going to door is that to sit down with them, to ask their opinions about the city.
Right.
What are you satisfied? What are you not satisfied with the city? Which way are you doing?
Well, I think the better part of doing door-to-door contacts with people is to try to engage them and ask them about how they feel about certain issues, what their concerns are. It oftentimes gets, you want to be a reflection of your community. So you get feedback from people, they'll tell you about how they feel. You want to make sure that what your views are as a candidate are consistent with the people's voice.
I just noticed you use a very important word, reflection, right? As elected officials, they want to use the word most of the time, represent, right? To represent. Of course, for you to be able to represent the community, you must use yourself as a mirror.
Right.
As a mirror to reflect the city.
Right, absolutely.
Right? So
very important.
You're saying that you want to reflect the city problems, right?
Absolutely.
I see. What have you found that, to your eye, seem to be the major concern of the people, of your constituents?
The recurring theme is about public safety. You know, people will talk about, then they've heard, I guess they've heard rumors, or they've heard, they've received information that maybe because of the city's fiscal problems that they're considering going to the county services, public services like the Sheriff's Department or LA County Fire. So some people have said, no, yeah, I don't want that to happen to my city. You know, I like my police department, I like my fire department. They don't want to see it go to the county because they know that maybe they won't get the same quality of service, even though there are less officers on the street and less fire department personnel. They want to keep that here. That's very important to them. And they also want to know that the city is doing right by them and not wasting their tax dollars. They want, one man I remember as we're talking about this told me, well, I read this thing about the audit that the controller did. Are we like Bell, the city of Bell? And you know, obviously I told him no. Hopefully we haven't reached that point. But there are some concerns. You know, there are some fiscal problems.
Well. If whether the city of West Covina was going or is going towards the way Bell is going, that's a different issue.
Sure.
Right now, I would like to focus on the concern about contracting of your police service and the fire service to the county. What difference does it make, with or without?
Well, oftentimes it can be more expensive. I think what people would notice in some contract cities is sometimes and for example with the Sheriff's Department, they may draw, they may have a dedicated amount of deputies that patrol a particular area, but if something happens on a particular day, perhaps they have a riot at the county jail, or there's something in an adjoining area, they may pull resources from there, and they won't pull everybody, but they will take some resources away and to handle that particular problem on that day. And sometimes it may happen very frequently, other times you may not have that issue, but those can be real problems. Same with the county fire department. You know, if there's a problem in an adjoining jurisdiction, you may see some of those firefighters drawn away to handle that.
I see.
You know,
how many police officers you have with the West Covina PD?
Right now, I think the number is 93.
93.
Right, and on any given day, you probably have about 55 officers on duty.
All right. With a total number of 93, with 55 available to be dispatched during any single day, you're talking about that's the load.
Right.
That's the load of security, total security you have, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. By contracting to the county sheriff, assuming the cost of them are equal, suppose they're equal though,
Right.
would they secure 55 dispatchable officers on a 24-hour basis to a city, to the city of West Covina?
You would hope they would. You would hope that if you're negotiating that kind of an agreement, that you would receive those resources. You know, sometimes it could be of equal cost. It's just not, every situation is different, but it could vary, it could be different.
How many police officers do the LASD have?
Oh gosh, I think numbering 9,500.
9,500.
Right.
And how many cities do they contract?
I'm not sure. They have a variety of them. Many of them are surrounding our city, like the city of Walnut, the city of Industry, La Puente, you know, Valinda.
The reason I'm asking is that I'm trying to find out that their resources, human resources, or availabilities of officers must be switchable, right?
Yes.
They kind of shuffle the whole thing
Depending on need.
Depending on needs.
Right.
Right. And then there is a problem at this point, and then you guys go over there.
Right.
And then go over there, like that kind of thing, right? Yeah. If both ends or many ends are happening at the same time, they are not having the 55 police officers available to dispatch to each of the problematic cities.
Right.
Am I right?
Right.
Okay.
It could be a problem. And this is regards to LAPD. You know, LA City is a very large city, goes all the way from the Harbor Division or San Pedro to the San Fernando Valley. And I worked with partners from those neighboring agencies, West LA and Pacific Division, and those poor guys would sometimes have to work in the valley on one day because they were short.
All the way down to the south.
Right, or work all the way down in Harbor Division if they were short people, you know, they had sick calls or injuries or something like that. So it always would fluctuate, and I really felt bad for those guys, those patrol officers who would be in one place on one day.
And also there is other elements that might make quite a difference, is that you'd rather have an officer working on your street who knows the street.
Absolutely.
Right? Not somebody landed all the way from the northern part of say, Los Angeles area down to the south end, who knows nothing about the neighborhood around, right?
Yeah, it's very, very important that you want somebody that knows the character of the community, who's worked there for a number of years, understands the little complexities and the nuances.
After analysis, we can say that we almost come to a point that suppose, even if the cost is about the same, you'd rather stay with your own.
Yes.
To have your own PD, am I right?
Absolutely.
I see.
Absolutely.
Now, cost-wise, if you did choose to go to county sheriff, though, how much an increase you're talking about cost-wise?
Well, I don't know. That's hard to say. Although then, on the other hand, you have a lot of resources that the county sheriff has. For example, you have the investigative unit, the detective bureau, but sometimes they're very busy, have a large caseload. You may have a SWAT team or a special tactics team that would be available, unlike maybe some of the resources our own city might have. So there are some advantages, but overall, I think if you look at it, as you said, you want somebody that really knows and understands the character of your community.
All right, my dear audience, today we're touching base to West Covina as this city. We call it our city because we're located here. Mr. Joe Gardner, candidate for the city council, is here to share his thoughts. The purpose of doing this show in the way, which sounds almost like a diagnostic way to find what's wrong with the city, is that I have an intention to testify if this man right in front of me has the brain of working that way. All right, so to prove to the point, let's take a short moment now. When we come back, we'll continue finding, please.